Bonjour Marion.
Hi.
Hello, Marion. You are a bronze medalist in freestyle skiing at the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympic Games. And I'm Catherine Villar-Gravel. I'm the Director, Sport Business and Sustainability at the Canadian Olympic Committee. And today it's Earth Day, and we're going to chat around climate action and sport together. So maybe first question, why does climate action in sport matters to you?
Um, for multiple reasons, but mainly I think because I'm a winter athlete and I spend my time in the mountains. So the mountains are my office, so I can see the changes and the impacts of climate change firsthand. So I think that's what triggered, I think, all these climate action need in me. I wanted to do something about it. And also because I notice that sports bring people together. And I think it's a great way to bring people working on climate action together. I think they're very interconnected, and I'm in a great spot to do so.
And you spoke about climate change. Do you have any example of what you've witnessed in your travels around the world during your competition last year?
I mean, we have multiple examples. I've done World Cups under the rain in the middle of winter. I've done World Cups where there was only snow on the air site where we do our jumps and all the rest was grass because it was obviously fake snow. Our last example, we had World Championships in March in Switzerland, and it was impossible to jump if we didn't have dry ice in the jump to make them hard because otherwise they were melting and it was just not possible to do our sports. And I mean, the examples are just coming and coming every year. It's almost getting worse.
Yeah, for sure. And you've been on a journey since 2022 to reduce your carbon footprint on your road to the Milano Cortina 2026
Yeah.
Olympic Games. And I'm curious to hear you about that. Like, what have been your biggest takeaways or accomplishments since you started this journey?
I guess I would have two main takeaways, one positive and one negative. I'll start with the negative one is just that air travel is terrible for my carbon footprint.
Yeah.
And of course, we travel a lot as athletes, and it's kind of part of the sport, right? We want to travel places and do the World Cups all together. I think it's very meaningful and very powerful for the sports community, for the athletes and the fans. But it's very emissive. So I want to find a way to be able to reduce that. So that's kind of the main takeaway. And second takeaway is that all the actions that I did implement in my life and I did change all brought a positive impact. It's not harder to reduce your emissions. It actually brought positive things in my life. I think it's just people don't think of it out of culture, out of norm, but it's very possible to make changes, even if you're a high performance athlete and you don't want to hinder your performance, right?
Totally, and you still have like 1 year to do in your journey to Milan. And so, what's next for you in terms of like carbon footprint measurement? Anything you want to maybe dive in the last few months before the end of your project?
Yes, for sure. I mean, I've done it personally, quantifying my carbon footprint, but that's kind of limited, right? And I've talked about plane travel, air travel. So the next step is to be able to gather data, not only for me, but for the whole World Cup tour of my discipline, and be able to show the impact of air travel, uh, on our emissions as a team or as a community and
Wow.
see can we make the calendar more efficient, right? Instead of going back and forth between Europe and North America or going to Asia and then to Europe, is there a way to make the tour more efficient? It is possible. I still want to go travel to these places and compete for sure. I think it's inherent part of the sport, but there's a way to make it smarter, to make it better, and we want to gather data to show that it's possible and that it should be done that way.
Marion, last year you received the Only Canada Legacy Grant for a project around the World Cup in freestyle skiing that was taking place in Lac Beauport. Can you tell us what did you do with this grant?
Yes, of course. So for the World Cup in Lac Beauport, we sold no plastics on site. We had no tie wraps. We had only reusable fences. We had a shuttle for the fans. We had vegetarian meals option, and we did a community day to share our passion with the kids and our values with the kids. And we also collaborated with Racing to Zero. So we implemented a lot of actions and it didn't cost all that much. It was effort, but it was easy.
With everything that you mentioned today, maybe in conclusion, like what gives you hope for the future?
What gives me hope? I think it's the people because we met them at the summit. I meet them with Protect Our Winters. I meet them in all these associations of people that care, people that are passionate. Uh, Climate action is no joke. Like, we have a huge problem and it's a huge project, but meeting these people is just so inspiring. It gives me hope. It makes me want to do stuff as well. So I think that that's what drives me too. It's like to see people what they're doing and to join forces so we can do it together and it becomes a positive experience for me as well.
Wow. I would say I'm aligned with you. I think that when we see joint forces, joint efforts, I think also this is where we see the biggest and the fastest changes. And because definitely to your point, I think it is a global challenge for all of us. And when we come together, I think this is where we make great things. So Marion, it was so cool to chat with you today. And I hope that you also enjoy your time and I'm looking forward for our next conversation, definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much, Catherine. It's always a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to another summit or another event with you.
Exactly. Take care.